Hi guys, JP Cormier here. Welcome to the 8th and final episode of the Boucher Guitar demonstrations. I've gone through 7 of the guitars that I have built by Robin, and as you can probably tell, I am a huge fan of his work. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I've bought 8 of them. And a massive investment for sure, but to me, having his guitars and particularly the ones that I have is very important to me. Not only because he's a Canadian builder, but because they're just great guitars, and each one is different, and I use each one of them for different purposes. They're all incredibly roadworthy. I've toured with all of them. They've been all over the world, east, west, Europe, south. They've never failed. And so yeah, and people ask me questions about them all the time. So I'm going to do the last one today, and today is the most special one that I own. And 2-3 years ago at Merle Fest in North Carolina, there was talk of building me a signature model Boucher guitar. Richard Bennett, his model was about to come out at that time, and I helped Richard hook up with Robin and Guillaume and Boucher Guitars, and that relationship flourished, and they made a mahogany bluegrass dreadnought guitar with a speed neck and beautifully made, and just a banjo killer bluegrass guitar. And the model has sold quite well, and proud of Richard Bennett. He's a great guitar player and a nice man. We've had some tremendous laughs, me and him, and the boys all together. He's just a great guy. And during that trip, it was bandied around, like, what if I wanted a signature model guitar, what would it even be? And well, I said I'm such a fan of your small-bodied instruments that it would have to be something smaller than a dreadnought. So it was decided last year that what it would be a triple-aught guitar, 12-fret triple-aught, with a specialized cutaway. So, which makes it incredibly unique. There's not too many 12-fret guitars in a in a triple O size that have a cutaway. So it was very exciting to me, and I was waiting, and they were trying to describe it to me, and it was going together, and I couldn't imagine what it might be like in my hands. And I'll never forget going up to a place outside of Quebec City. Robin and his Beatles band were playing there. Robin has this huge, like, 7 or 8 piece band that does all of the late Beatles songs, like in full orchestra. They have horn players and violin and guitar and bass and piano and keyboards, and it's unbelievable. When you hear them do this stuff, like songs from the White Album and Sgt. Pepper's and all that stuff, they sound just like the Beatles. It's absolutely terrifying. So I went there to see the band, but also to pick up this guitar. Robin had taken it with him to the gig, and he was very excited to get into my hands. And so we met there. I heard their sound check. I was on my way home from Ontario. It was late at night, or late-ish at night for me, because I still had to drive all the way home to Nova Scotia. And we went upstairs to the band room, and he pulled his guitar out. This is her. I call her the Mona Lisa, because she is a masterpiece. So we have a triple-aught body with this unique 16-fret access cutaway. This other proprietary shaped pickguard, which was resized for this body shape. Torified Adirondack 4+ Adirondack top, torified, Robin's own technique. Bound in koa, all East Indian rosewood back and sides, mahogany neck, slotted headstock, Waverly tune or Goto tuners. This little extra bit here, and of course Robin's famous B at the 12th fret, and installed inside as a K&K pickup. I just got finished touring with this guitar for about 2 months, and I'm telling you what, everybody that heard this, every sound man, every audience, they were just mesmerized by what this guitar sounds like, plugged in and acoustically. And it is a work of art. It's just unbelievable what this thing does for its body size. Rings and rings and rings and rings. I'm still speechless every time I play this guitar for a number of reasons. I've worked with a lot of large companies in my time, and they none of them ever stepped up and did this for me. There's been some small builders that built guitars for me, you know, in my honor, and it's greatly appreciated. And but for a company the size of Boucher, who's building, you know, 400 to 600 units a year, to put this on in their catalog, because when this came out, there was dozens of orders for it, and it's not a cheap guitar, unfortunately. You're looking at $6,000 to $7,000 for this guitar. But I still not sure what to say to Robin, because it's just so humbling to have my name on the inside of this label here, you know. And it's there's a funny joke that before I named her the Mona Lisa, when we got the guitar home, this is number one, and so when they printed the label, because they're thinking in French, instead of the number being JP0001, because it's the first guitar, the label said JP1000, So the guitar instantly became the JP1000. Everybody still around here in my camp still calls it that, but I call her the Mona Lisa because she is a masterpiece, and she's just an amazing piece of art. It's like I don't know what else to say. If you were to, I mean, you could spend the same amount of money easily on a Martin or a Taylor or a Gibson, but they won't be this kind of guitar, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate the American companies are so overpriced, because they are, and it's true, and you can't get away from it. It's just obscene what they want for a Martin now. When because they're no better a guitar now than they were when I was a kid, and they were relatively easy to buy then. You could buy a D28 Martin when I was a kid for, I don't know, a couple $1,000, maybe $1,800. Now they're $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a plain dreadnought, and built in a factory by machines, basically. So it's I don't know. It's just, to me, I know there's I mean, and I love Martins. I have a Martin. It's a special Martin. I think I've talked about it before. My Clarence White D28. I mean, it's 15 years old, and it's aged, and it was built by hand. It was a custom shop guitar. That's different, right? Martin and Gibson and Taylor are all capable of building, masterpiece guitars, but I just think they're overpriced for what they are, and I don't like that. And this is high. I know it's high, but at least it's handmade by one group of people. There's 8 or 9 people that touch this instrument. There's no machines. It's all done by hand. So that's what you're really paying for, I suppose, in the long run. But that price is pretty on par with what you'd pay to buy a similar instrument from, say, Collings, which is still a handmade shop. But that's what you'd pay. So I mean, on one side of the coin, I'm always telling people to be on the lookout for the cheaper instruments that are incredible for their money, which they are. Yamahas, Alvarez, Eastman. There's a whole bunch of guitars out there that are built in the Chinese shops that are incredible. They are incredible for the money they want for them. And but if you're going to go on the other side of the scale, I would sooner see you spend your thousands of dollars on a guitar built by people instead of a CNC machine and an assembly line, and they come off the end of the line and they're not sure. Quality control might not be exactly what it should be. On and on it goes. When you have such high volume, that's what happens, right? But anyhow, I'm still a Martin and Gibson Taylor fan. I always will be, but I don't think I'll ever see myself spending that kind of money to buy one anymore, which is sad in itself, because I made a lot of music, with those brands of instruments, and so it's anyhow. I'm off on a rant, right? But I just want everybody to have the best instrument they can have, no matter what their budget is. So that's kind of the reason why I went through all these Bouchers, to give you an idea of what he builds, and ultimately it's your choice to figure out what you want to buy. Or maybe you don't want to buy nothing. Maybe you just want to watch me play mine, but that's good too. I can do that as well. Anyhow, I thank Robin Boucher and everyone at Boucher Guitars and all of you for watching these videos. There's thousands of you on here. And just stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's going to be more on the go. And yeah, we'll keep up the good fight. And there'll be more guitar things and lots more things going on the channel in the next few weeks. Because, well, right now, as I said, someday this will all be moot discussion, but we are in a pandemic and a lockdown right now. So when you look back on these videos, we'll see what I was doing and what a lot of people were doing when they were forced to stay at home and come up with other ways to create. So there you go, boys and girls. We thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Stay safe. Take care of one another, and we'll talk to you soon.